Okay, hello and welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started with our webinar for the day. We are discussing today version 20, the new version that is not yet released. Let me reiterate, the new version that we're discussing today has not been released yet. We're hoping to have it released in the next week or so, but we don't want to make any promises we cannot keep. And so we will let you know as soon as we are ready to release it. We will let you know. But for today, we're going to show you a little preview of the membership settings that are available. Now, just a few things before we get started. In the webinar toolbar on your screen, you should have a questions panel where if you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can go ahead and type those in. And I've got Kellyanne with me, I believe, taking a look at those questions, and she'll be answering them as we go along. And if we don't get to all of the questions throughout the webinar, we'll come back to them at the end. And so just one more time to let you know, this is version 20, as you can see here on my Church Windows main screen. Version 20. All right, so that being said, the biggest change in version 20 is coming to the membership module. That's pretty much the only thing that's going to be changing in 20. And if you've been with us for some time, you'll remember that when we switched over a few years back from contributions and financial to donations and accounting, it was a big change. And this membership is going to similarly be a big change. But we think it's definitely for the better. It allows you a lot more flexibility. We've implemented a lot of the suggestions that have come in from the users themselves, from you folks. And we're just really excited about this version, and we think it's going to be great. All right, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and open up membership. All right, here we are at the new main membership screen. You can see that the quick access buttons in the middle have changed, and you can also see across the top of the screen the menus have changed. Now, we will have more webinars coming up on several of the other topics for membership, but for today, we're just going to be looking at the settings that are available in membership to get you all set up and going on your data entry in this new membership module. So I'm going to go ahead and click Special Functions up here in the menu at the top, and we're going to look at our settings. Okay, here we are in the settings, and you can see we have quite a few settings available here. First and foremost, we have an option to back up the member file before a mass edit. This setting is very important, and we definitely recommend making this setting active, because if you are going to be doing a mass edit, that changes a lot of data really fast. So you want to make sure that you have the ability to restore back to what you had before the mass edit, just in case you realize after the fact that that mass edit was not something you wanted to do. Next, we have Show Middle Name in Donations and Membership. And that is going to be referring to any lists of people. This isn't about reports necessarily. Those options can be set up separately. This is for just the screens throughout membership and donations and determining whether or not you want the middle names included. Next we have use organization, city, state, zip code, and area codes as default for new records. And so what that means is that the organization information that you enter at the beginning of your church Windows setup, that would be your church's address. If you want to use the same city, state, zip code, and area code from your church for new entries, you want to check this box. And that is typically a good thing to check because most of the people who attend your church who you're adding to your database probably live in the same city and state, possibly even same zip code, and they should have the same area code. So it's a good idea. Brandy's asking if all of these options are available as a generic setting, or do you have to set it up this way? I'm not sure what you mean by that. All of these options are available. There's no way to add these options. The defaults will be, whatever the defaults are. And when you upgrade, any of the settings that are currently available in the previous versions will remain for the future versions. All right, next we have use organization country as default. And again, that's probably a good one because most of the people who go to your church probably live in the same country as you. Then we have this new option that uses your internet connection to look up the city and state based upon the zip code. And that, again, it requires internet connection. And you have two choices for that. You can only insert the city and state when they're blank, or you can always insert the city and state. And so, that's a great feature, helps save you some time on data entry. So you can check that or not, it's up to you. Next we have automatically uppercase first letter of name fields. Another useful one. This maybe saves you a couple of keystrokes. It'll automatically make the first letter of any name field, be it first name, last name, etc. It'll make all of those uppercase for the first letter. Next we have this option to show group start and end date warning. Now that one's a little bit vague if you haven't seen the new version yet. So what that means is when you're setting up your groups and classes, groups like, or classes like Sunday school, you know that those are only going to be probably during the school year. So for that, you probably would have start and end dates. And then for other groups, like perhaps a Bible study or some sort of committee, maybe those don't have start and end dates. Maybe the people in those groups stay the same and you don't need to track any date information. Well, if the majority of your groups don't have start and end dates, you may want to turn off this warning because what will happen is if you're entering a group in a class and you do not enter a start date and end date, it will warn you and let you know, hey, these dates might be important for your database. And it gives you a few options. So that's going to depend on whether or not you're using start and end dates. Next, we have this little box that says show ages. That is referring to the list of family members. In the record of the family, in that list in the bottom of the screen where it shows each member of the family, this determines whether or not you want to show the ages. You can show the ages for all, for those younger than a certain age, such as 18, or for no one. And these settings are similarly available right now. Next we have print area codes other than, and you have a box here that you can fill out. Our local is 614, so that's why that is what is in here now. And what that is referring to is on your reports, if you want phone numbers in your local area code to just list the main part of the phone number and skip the area code, you can do that. And then it would only print the area code for people with a different area code. Then we have Relabel Fields. Relabel Fields allows you to change these fields that come with the software but may not be utilized in the way that the program suggests. One example is skills and interests. A lot of churches prefer to call skills and interests time and talents. So all you would have to do is type that right there in that box. And now when you click save and go back to the records, it will say time and talents instead of skills and interests. Again, you can rename any of these fields that are available in this box. Some of them you might not want to rename, but any of the ones that are listed here are available to edit. Down here at the bottom, you have this button to reset all screens to default size and location. That is something that is very useful if you have screens that seem to have vanished, or if they are positioned in a way that you cannot click on the buttons, or if you cannot see certain buttons or certain parts of the screen. Next we have Set Anniversary Date. And this allows you to choose a different field, a different date field, for which the software will find your anniversary list and calculate the years married. So if you have a different field that you want to use besides marriage date, you can change it here. Then we have attendance options. Here you have the ability to turn on or off your communion tracking. You could track communion only for events, only for groups or classes, or for both, or for neither. Below that, we have excused absence tracking. Again, you can turn it on or off for both or neither. That excused is something that maybe is only relevant for groups and classes. If you know you're taking attendance for a Sunday school class and children are expected to be there unless they're excused, you might want to use that. Next we have Lookup Data. This is where any cities, states, zip codes, or countries that you have added to your database will be listed. You can add new ones or you can delete unused ones. And that goes for each of these tabs. And this just maintains a list of all of the items for each of these fields in your database. And you can clear it out if you have extra ones that you don't need, or you can add new ones. The last tab we have is INDIV, which stands for Individual/Family Pictures. Now this tab is unique to version 20 for those of you coming forward from a previous version. As you'll see in our upcoming webinars about adding families and adding individuals, you'll see that now Church Windows has a separate family picture and separate individual pictures. Whereas in the past, the picture assigned to the primary individual was the one used for the family. Well, in this new version, the picture for the family will be assigned to the family instead of the primary person. And this tab allows you to automatically move the picture from the individual to the family. And any pictures that this is the case for, so for example, Morgan Robertson has this picture assigned to her record. But if we want to assign it to the family, all we have to do is click Assign Picture to Family, and that will move it from her individual record to their family record without you having to go in, take the picture away, then upload it to the family, blah, blah, blah. It saves you quite a bit of time. And in my demo data here today, I've only got one family where this is the case. In your data, you're probably going to have quite a few. And so there'll be a scroll bar over here on the side, and you can just scroll through the list and click this Assign Picture to Family button. When we do that, we're going to get the box grayed out, and it's going to have a check mark and say moved, so we know that that was all taken care of for us. All right, that pretty much covers it. We're only at the 15-minute mark. We haven't met our full 20 minutes yet, so if anybody has any other questions, go ahead and type those questions into the panel. And I will go back to the main tab here so that you can take a look at those. Patricia wants to know if we will have to move each photo individually. Yes, you'll just click that moved or that move to family button for each record. This is the automated way of doing it. So that's the way that you would do that. Bonnie's asking if we need to click save after moving the photo. That you wouldn't have to click save. Just for this tab, this moved check mark says that that's already been done. Now, you will want to click save for any of the other tabs, but this pictures tab, you don't need to worry about it. So you're all good with that. Linda's asking about duplicates in the Lookup Data tab. Let's see here. What you would be able to do is, yes, you could delete those duplicates from this list, Linda. So for example, SC on the state tab for South Carolina versus S.C. So like, let me type out an example here. If I had O.H in addition to just the regular OH. All you would be able to do here is delete the one that you want to get rid of. And then you would have to use a mass edit in order to correct the actual records, Linda. There's no way to, from the settings screen, automatically move all of the O.H people over to OH. That would need to be done in a mass edit or in the find grid. So I hope that answers all of the questions. If you have any more, go ahead and get them typed in. I will stick around until we're at our full 20 minutes. But I think that pretty much covers it. We're very excited for version 20. The data will automatically transfer forward, and unlike in the contributions donations switchover, you won't lose any of your reports. Christy is asking if you will get a warning if you are deleting something from the Lookup Data tab that does have people assigned to it. You will. You'll get this message right here. And so it gives you several options as far as what you can do with that deletion. And so actually from here, I hadn't remembered that it gave all of these options. You will be able to switch, like let's see here, if I do cancel and I delete this one, I can say replace OH with a different value instead of deleting it. Now that doesn't necessarily take care of my duplicates, but it does give you several options. And a mass edit is used for making broad spectrum changes, not necessarily changing everything. It's kind of hard to explain, Brandy, without going too deep into it as far as the mass edit, but we will be having a mass edit webinar. I know I'm the one giving it, but I can't remember exactly when it is. But if you go to our website, to the webinars page, you will be able to take a look and sign up for that one. Oh, you already know when it is, Brandy. November 29th. All right, great. The version 20 update, Donna, it comes with your support subscription. So if you are a support subscriber, you will get that version update automatically. If you are not a subscriber, you want to call in and talk to the administrative staff up front, and they will let you know what the cost would be depending on how many modules you want. So again, we're hoping to have it out as soon as possible. And if there are any last questions, get them in. I'll stick around a couple more minutes to make sure everybody's questions are answered. And if you don't have any questions, go ahead and sign out, and we'll see you at the next webinar. All right, thanks everybody. It looks like that's about it. Take care and have a great afternoon.